Prudential.
Malilan, the gateway to the Kruger National Park and a farming town renowned for its production of sugarcane, subtropical fruit and winter vegetables. Last year, the town played host to its first ever Donaldson Cross Country Championship race, and it proved to be so popular that competitors and spectators didn't hesitate to return.
We're in the beautiful province of Mpumalanga for the third leg of the Donaldson Cross Country Championship. In surrounds such as these, it's hardly surprising that this race in Malilan was arguably one of the most enjoyable ones last year. This time around, we're back for the Nkomazi 450.
The town has a population of around 3,500 people, and as is often the case when it comes to the Donaldson Cross Country Championship, the place comes to a virtual standstill as the cars rolled in preparation for the tricky terrain. The event turned into a carnival of sorts as people of all ages took to the sights and sounds of the magnificent metal chariots on display.
Of course, it's all about the cars, and all eyes were on the rivalry between Ford Racing and Castrol Toyota, with Manfred Schroeder and Jaapie Badenhorst having taken the lead from defending champs Anthony Taylor and Dennis Murphy in Class T following the Mooi River event.
The Ford is now leading the championship, which is something that we have to now rectify, so we're going to give it a full go this weekend.
Meanwhile, Regent Racing celeb navigator this time round, former Bafana Bafana captain Neil Tovey.
You're going to make mistakes. I know I'm going to make mistakes, but it's how quickly I can recover and get him back on track. Yeah.
Another celeb navigator of sorts, Dakar Rally biker Brett Cummings, doing the honours for Thomas Rundle.
It's going to be a steep learning curve for myself. Got the road book this morning, going to mark it quickly and give it a bash.
A new addition to the Regent Racing stable, well-known rally driver Mohammed Musa.
We've done, a fair amount of rallying, 7 years national rallying, but this off-road seems completely different. There's dust to contend with, there's other cars that you're seeing, there's, all these other elements. Make it worse, I'm in a left-hand drive for the first time ever, so it's going to be a big, I think a huge weekend of school. That's what it's going to be about. We're just here to learn, and that's what it's about.
So confirmation of the standings in the production vehicle category, Schroeder and Badenhorst leading the way in their Atlas Copco Ford, 11 points clear of Castrol Toyota's Leroy Poulter and Rob Howie, while Taylor and Murphy are third.
From the productions to the specials, the championship is loaded with father and son teams, and there's one particular team that is leading the way after just 2 races, Gerard and Hardest to Proceed, who captured victory at the Toyota Dealer 450.
What do you expect from today's race?
Ja, hierdie is nogal 'n soekerbel, is amper so 'n soekerbel altyd gewees. Hierdie suiker is nou, jy weet, hy tonneltjies wat jy inry en dis glad. So ons sal maar sien. Dis nie oop en gaan nie. Dis kyk en ry.
The pair are 15 clear of another family affair, the Silvalds, Quinton and Cully, while Daniel Brooks and Gavin Gray are third overall.
First up, qualifying and the battle between Toyota and Ford resumed, Taylor and Murphy hitting the route first amid much cheering from the locals. And they were soon followed by Schroeder and Badenhorst. Schroeder having taken over the seat for the season following Chris Fisser's injury at Dakar.
It was in fact the other Castrol Toyota team of Poulter and Howie that shone, the pair covering the terrain in just over an hour and 25 minutes in their Hilux.
Taylor and Murphy were second quickest, despite experiencing a flat 5Ks from the finish.
Local favourites Johan and Badenhorst from Malilan Toyota were third, having overshot en route a couple of times.
Christian Deploy and Henk Janse van Vuren broke the Toyota domination, fourth fastest in their RFS Motorsport Ford Ranger.
Fifth on the grid for Johan van Staden and Mike Lawrenson from Atlas Copco. The pair lost their break 75 k's in.
The first BMW, this one belonging to Henny de Klerk and Johan Smallberger from Treasury One, a 6th place for them.
Michael Whitehouse and George Myberg were the fastest from Regent Racing, 7th despite some navigational nightmares.
The fastest Class S competitor, Lo de Brain and Rian Kralin from Rubicon Racing. They struggled in the dust of Marsh and Tovey.
In the newly formed Class G, Brian Camper and Jaco Swart from Regent Racing continued their great form, quickest in their pit hours.
An excellent performance from Poulter and Howie. They'll start at the front, followed by Taylor and Murphy and the Horns from Malalan. A Hilux heavy 1, 2, 3.
Over to the specials, and Evan Hutchison and Dani Stassen from Motorride looking for a good performance to reignite their championship campaign.
First start in Class P, Colin Matthews and Rodney Burke from Century Racing.
It was the Sulvalds from Elegant Fuel that set the pace though. Quinton and Cully were outstanding at an event which they considered to be their local race, fastest in their Bat Venom.
A good run from Hutchison and Stassen saw them claim a 2nd in category and 6th overall, on a course Evan described as being very tricky.
Third in qualifying, the Duplessis, Gerard and Hardes, continuing their outstanding start to the season.
The pair have captured 2 podiums in 2 races. Can they make it 3 out of 3?
Just 15 seconds slower, Lawrence Duplessis and Hilly LaRue, son of Yox LaRue, in their Zarco.
Rounding off the front 5, Brett Parker and VZ Van Sale in their Sizanani Plastics Jimco.
Keith Macanetti and Moelosi Boroto lost their power steering, but that didn't stop them from finishing as the 6th quickest in category and 1st in class.
A dream run from the Sulvalds, fastest in class, meaning they'll begin 5th on the road behind 4 production vehicles, not too far back Hutchison and Stassen, followed by the Duplessis.
With racing done for the day, it was now the turn of the mechanics to take over, some having to do a lot more work than others, as vehicles were fixed, tuned and tested amidst the stunning surroundings of Mpumalanga ahead of the all-important 2nd and final day of the Nkomazi 450.
Dawn breaks in Malalan, a beautiful morning in a beautiful town, as excitement builds ahead of the start. Some last-minute touch-ups to the cars before they take their place on the grid.
With qualifying done and dusted, it's now on to race day, and behind me, it's a familiar sight seeing a Toyota Castrol Hilux. However, it's not driven by Anthony Taylor. In fact, it's Leroy Poulter getting his first pole position. And can he get his first win in the Donaldson Cross Country Championship? We'll see at the Nkomazi 450.
Let's catch up with the leader in the specials, Quinton Sulvalds.
I had 2 flats yesterday, so it was quite a tough one. We got lost a couple of times, but other than that, the car's really strong. So looking forward to a good race today and just keep it on the road and keep going and not get out. That's the plan.
He and Dad Kelly are 5th on the list, behind 3 Toyota Hiluxes and a Ford Ranger.
It's the first time in front for Poulter and Howie. Can they also capture their first win together?
Two men who are very much used to winning together, Taylor and Murphy, the defending champions in the hunt for their 2nd victory of the season.
The hometown heroes, Johan and Werner Horn, 3rd out of the blocks.
Bolt and Howie had a very tough time at the Dakar Rally, but that experience has undoubtedly strengthened them as a team, and they're going from strength to strength here.
No puncture problems yet for Taylor and Murphy. The Nav did suffer from some motion sickness during qualifying, what with a constant light dark tunnel from driving in the sugarcane, but he adapted his helmet to keep the peripheral vision shaded, and it seems to be working.
The Horns loving life in Class T in their new Toyota Hilux, still lying in third place, having not suffered from their overshooting problems from the day before. Christian Duploy and Henk Janse van Vuren had a fairly difficult 2013, and they've had a tough start to 2014, but that said, setting up a new car can be extremely difficult. Firing in front in the specials, Quinton and Kali Silval, the elegant fueled pair having no problems so far and absolutely loving the route.
Second in class, the defending champions Hutchison and Stassen. The Motorride racing pair looked to turn around a slow start to the season. Their Bat Viper looking solid on what Evans said was a very good route.
And by the looks of things, very muddy. Lying in third place, the Duplessis family, Herod and Hardis.
Fourth in class, Lawrence Duplessis and Hilly Leroux, doing well to negotiate their way through the river.
Fifth in Class T, Johan van Staden and Mike Lawrenson from Atlas Copco. Their Nissan Navara flying in the open terrain.
In complete contrast, we've hit the sugarcane. Parker and Van Sale winding their way through in fifth place in the special vehicle category.
Plenty of mud all over the show. Proving no match though for the Treasury 1 BMW of de Klerk and Smallberger. The pair currently sixth in class.
This is undoubtedly one of the most well-attended races on the calendar. And why not, when you can see competitors like these in action? And there is action aplenty. The heavy mud making it difficult to see the tyre barricades, and some teams taking a shortcut as a result. Whitehouse and De Bruyn following Macanetti.
Dakar heroes Thomas Rundle and Brett Cummings, 8th in class in their D-Mac Baden Toyota Hilux.
The second vehicle in Class S, Dion Venter and Ian Palmer from 4x4 Mega World.
Well, this river is a lot deeper than it looks, as John Thompson and Maurice Matten are currently finding out. Their aquaplaning, Zarko Magnum currently first in Class P, but hot on their heels, Lance Trethui and Jeff Minnett in the Mortimer Toyota Bat. The pair now being allowed past by Thompson.
Jannie Visser and Yorks Leroux from Rubicon Racing are just outside the top 10, but the pair still very happy with the way things are going.
Sitting in a surprising 9th in class, Moy River winners Schroeder and Bardnos from Atlas Copco Ford Racing, having suffered fuel pressure problems in qualifying. You can see visuals very tough inside and some confusion about which way to go. Unfortunately, passing a dormant Keith Macanete, he rolled his car and is out of the race.
Mohamed Musa enjoying life in a production vehicle in his first Donaldson cross-country outing. He and Regent Racing teammate Bix Carolyn and encouraging 4th in Class S.
Musa's teammates Marsh and celeb navigator Neil Tovey finding things a lot tougher than on the football pitch.
Neil famously lifted the Africa Cup of Nations trophy in 1996. Will he repeat the feat with regards to the Celebrity Challenge title?
Let's see. Now back to the specials. Derek Dutour and Craig Gray, their Batspec 5 caked in mud. But they're closely followed by a production vehicle. Jason Fenter and Vince van Alleman from 4x4 Megaworld Toyota Hilux.
Another Regent Racing Nissan Navara, this one belonging to Archie Rutherford and Gerard Skitter, experienced punctures and misfires in qualifying.
Going along rather gingerly, Rob Walk and Ashley Thorne in their Aceco K9 Dog.
Problems here for Kobus van Tonder and Freddie Creel. Their Unifreight Ford Ranger coming to a standstill.
Maar ek weet iets klinkie lekker en ons het nie brieke nie. So ons is maar bang ons kry verdere skade. Nou trek ons maar eerder uit.
So after 85 Ks, Poulter and Howie remain first, followed by Castrol Toyota teammates Taylor and Murphy, while the Horn brothers are doing a sterling job.
In the specials, the Silvalds, Quinton and Cully lead the way. Hutchison and Stassen are second, while the Duplessis round off the top three.
Nice manoeuvring there from Castrol Toyota pair Taylor and Murphy. They had an exceptional 2013. Can they do it again in 2014?
But look, sidelined without a wheel, Poulter and Howie. And it looks as if their race is over, meaning we have a new leader.
The concerned teammates stopping to help. Up to second now, the Malalan Toyota team of Johan and Vanna Horn.
In third place, Duploy and Janse van Vieren from RFS in their Ford Ranger. A podium very much on the cards now for these two.
Leading the way in the specials, Quinton and Cully Silvalt. Quinton having just returned from Greece, and it looks like the time off hardly affected his driving abilities.
We spoke about the difficulty of driving through sugarcane, and here the forest proving just as bad for Hutchison and Stassen. And they're slowing down with what sounds to be a wheel that's come off. That would be a disaster.
Up to fourth place, Johan van Staden and Mike Lawrenson from Atlas Copco. Correction, they're now third. Deploy and Janse van Rensburg sidelined with what looks to be a puncture.
They continue to surprise all the Duplessis, now lying second in the specials in their Jimco.
Henny de Klerk and Johan Smallberger in their Treasury 1 BMW X3, enjoying a clean run.
Next up, and apparently having a better day, Whitehouse and Myberg from Regent Racing.
First in Class S, Loderbrain and Rian Hreiling in the Rubicon Racing Ford.
And they've got a bit of a gap on Fenter and Palmer from 4x4 Mega World, also doing battle in Class S.
The front runner in Class P, Johan Thompson and Maurice Zamatin in their Zarko Magnum.
The Rubicon Racing outfit of Yanni Visser and Yorks LaRue currently lying third in Class S.
Looking very lost is the Atlas Copco Ford Racing pair of Schroeder and Bardnorst. The team captured the checkered flag at Moy River, but they're a long way off from that in this race. And as they get their bearings, they're overtaken by Rundle and Cummings.
Musa and racing veteran Carolyn, their Regent Racing Nissan Navara going strong.
Also going strong, the Regent Racing Celeb pair of Marsh and Tovey.
As for the side-by-sides in Class G, Brian Kappa and Jaco Swart leading from the front for Regent Racing.
Kappa, of course, a renowned bike rider, and he's taken to this like a duck to water, winning in Moy River, and he looks well on his way to winning again.
We've reached the halfway mark at DSP, and no surprises as to who's in front, Taylor and Murphy from Castrol Toyota.
Coming through in second, the local boys, Johan and Vanna Horn.
Yeah, it was a tight loop, rough outside. Plantations is very tight. But I see Leroy is out with 9 seconds, and we just gonna keep it like this, try to finish.
Yes, Leroy Poulter is out, but one man who is still in the game, the celebrity Neil Tovey.
Well, we've been It's been nice. We passed a few guys, so we're hanging in there. You know, some guys have dropped out and just playing it by ear and not trying to get into too clever with situations, calling it as it comes, you know.
With one loop to go, it's Taylor and Murphy followed by the Horns, while Johan van Staden and Mike Lawrenson round off the top 3 in productions.
As for the specials, 2 men who are getting rather used to the podium, Quinton and Kali Silvald leading the way. They're followed by the Du Plessis and Thompson and Zamatin.
And they're back on track, Taylor and Murphy picking up from where they left off. Taylor saying they've had an amazing run, and it certainly shows.
The same can be said for the Horns. Enjoying life in the ex-Castrol Toyota Hilux, they stay second.
Quinton and Kali Silvald taking things cautiously in the second loop. There's really no need to exert themselves as they have a healthy lead.
No caution from Van Staden and Lawrenson. They're absolutely flying.
As are the Du Plessis, Gerard and Hardis, currently lying second amongst the specials.
Bad news for Deploy and Janse van Vieren. They're out, meaning Whitehouse and Myburg are up to 4th.
In 5th place, but not for long, Lodebrain and Rian Hueling from Rubicon Racing. They're pulling over because of what appears to be a flat. And that's allowed Venter and Palmer to take over 5th spot. Not great news for De Bruyn and Hueling. Let's hope they're back up and running soon.
Good news for Schroeder and Badenhorst. They've certainly made up some ground in their Ford Ranger and are now 7th.
Rundle and Cummings having a nightmare run. They lost brakes and experienced 2 punctures, while they also got caught on stray wire from a pylon. They're well outside the top 10.
Jannie Visser and Joks Leroux declared at the DSP that things were all good, and it certainly seems to be the case here.
The celeb pair. Marsh said it's been a very challenging route, but Neil is handling himself outstandingly well.
And the crowd goes wild as Lance Trethewey and Jeff Minute in the Mortimer Toyota Bat make their way through. They're 3rd in specials.
Venter and Van Alleman from 4x4 Mega World said they've had to work really hard to get where they are.
More celebrations, and this time for Archie Rutherford and Gerard Schutter. Rutherford enjoying life now that he has a regular nav.
It's been an extremely tough day for the Atlas Copco Ford Racing pair of Gary Berthold and Siegfried Rousseau. They find themselves far behind the leading pack.
Faring a bit better in the specials, Thompson and Zamatin.
These men had a dream run at Moy River. They were 3rd last month, Daniel Brooks and Gavin Gray in their Ducati's Property Bat. Next up, Barnes and Asher. They've been going along rather nicely despite some gearbox problems. Some new recruits to the Donaldson Cross Country Championship. Derek DeToy and Craig Gray. Behind them, Rob Walk and Ashley Thorne. They've had a lot of punctures on this route, but despite that, this has definitely been one of their better performances. They're 2nd in class.
As we near the finish line, Taylor and Murphy hold a commanding lead after 450 kilometers, followed by the Horns, while the Silvalds are 3rd overall, but 1st amongst the specials.
And that wraps things up as Taylor and Murphy cruise yet another victory, their 2nd of the season.
In 2nd place, the hometown heroes, Johan and Werner Horn of Malalan Toyota.
exactly what we wanted. You know, after DNF at Moy River, and it was our own event. This is almost like our own event because, you know, Malalam to put such a big effort into this Nkomazi 450, that to have got a victory here with and also with Johan and Werner being second, I don't think we could have asked for anything better. So yeah, it's a brilliant result for us.
It certainly was brilliant. A tremendous win for the Donaldson Cross Country Championship defending champions, with the Horns getting second, while Van Staden and Lawrenson rounded off the podium.
Over in the specials, no surprises as Quinton and Cully Silvalt do it again in their elegant field back Venom.
Today we had a fantastic race. We didn't have to get out of the car once, and that's the trick. I think Elegant Fuel and all the other sponsors are really happy with what we've put together today.
I'm sure they were. The Duplessis finished second for yet another top 3 finish, while Trethewey and Minute came home in 3rd place. Coming up next month, we cross borders as we head to Twanang for the Toyota Botswana 1000 Desert Race.
It is arguably one of the greatest events on the Donaldson Cross Country Championship, and we'll see you there.
The Donaldson Cross Country Championship brought to you by Donaldson Filtration Systems, a market leader in filtration solutions.